So the gym is making your body sicker. That's the topic of today's conversation. What's going on, everybody? Dr. Rob here, the Art of Recovery podcast. Welcome back. So I floated this topic out to a colleague of mine that going to the gym regularly and lifting weights makes your body sicker. And he was kind of perplexed by that because everything that you ever hear is that working out and exercising is good for you. Well, it is, in fact. But if you're going to the gym every single day and you're strength training, all right, I'm not talking about going to the gym and wasting your time walking on the treadmill or riding a bike or something silly like that, or doing these ridiculous classes. You know, I'm talking about if you're in the know and you're strength training, you're going to the gym to build muscle, which is what you should be doing. That, in fact, is making your body more unhealthy, unless, of course, you are controlling inflammation. All right. So that is the key. You have to control inflammation. When you go to the gym and you lift weights, you're breaking down the muscle. That process causes inflammation. All right. So you're breaking down the muscle cell. It has to rebuild itself. So your body goes through a process of an inflammatory response. If you are not controlling this and you are overtraining, your body's getting sicker. There's no debate about it. You can challenge me on this. I'd be more than happy to have the discussion or the debate, but this is science. This is biochemistry. Your body goes through an inflammatory response. Now, I promised that I would lay out my routine of how myself and my clients, how I take them through the journey of controlling inflammation. All right. So let's start with oral health. Oral health is not talked about in these discussions, and it is crucial. All right. It's the beginning of the digestive tract. So if you're in my age group, I'm soon to be 50 years old. We had mercury fillings as kids. All right. So if you suffered from cavities and things like that, then, you have mercury fillings. You got to get them the hell out of your mouth. All right. They're poison. Okay. If you have crowns or if you went through root canals, these areas of the mouth are havens for bacteria to get into the crevices and just stay there. So you have to find a good hygienist that actually cares about your health and works with you and cares about your well-being. All right. So I've been fortunate enough. It took me a long time, but I found someone who is fantastic. She really cares about me. She's on me all the time about using the water pick regularly and flossing all the time. Make sure, you're brushing regularly. And she gives my mouth a thorough examination every time I go in. But also she introduced me to the process of deep cleaning. All right. So that's where the dentist comes in and numbs your gums. And then she goes in with the tools underneath the gum line. All right. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but because of the numbing agent, you really don't feel anything. And they really get down in those crevices and clean everything out. So she had recommended to me to do it once every couple years. And, I trust the people on my team that I work closely with. So I'm going to do that. I already had one and it was fine. I survived. But if you're like me and hates the dentist, you may have trouble with your teeth or, you may have some gum issues. You must get that taken care of, folks. That's number one. Number two is if you suffer from allergies. All right. The nasal passage is one of the areas where the air is cleaned before it enters your body. It warms the air and it filters out some of the, toxins in the air. And if you were like me and told that you have a deviated septum, I could never breathe out of both nostrils at the same time. I went through many years like that. And doctors would tell me, oh, you have a deviated septum. We have to go in there and fix it. And, I'm not one for surgery. And matter of fact, not one for doctors either. And, I just never did it. It's time off of work and things like that. When, I had insurance at this point and, I'm working. So it was never an option to me. So I took the advice of someone, I forget who it was, it's been so long now, that local honey, all right, is a natural antihistamine. Take it from me, I've been on every friggin' allergy medicine that there is. I would see, a couple weeks, maybe a month of benefit, and then right back. Only able to breathe out of one nostril. I was developing sleep apnea. And so I started this local honey, and I've been taking a tablespoon of local honey now for more than 30 years. And when I tell you, when I started doing it regularly, my allergies disappeared and I can finally breathe out of both nostrils at the same time. I can't tell you how that's improved my overall health by being able to sleep and breathe out my nose rather than waking up in the morning with terrible dry mouth. That also leads to poor oral health when you breathe out of your mouth like that. And, you'll get some really, out there people who tape their mouth shut while they're sleeping. I have this thing with not being able to breathe and things like that. Maybe it's a claustrophobia or who the hell knows, but I'm not taping my mouth, folks. Some people out there do it. They swear by it. God bless you. You're more extreme than I am. And if it works for you, by all means, but a tablespoon of local honey will solve all those problems. Natural antihistamine, great for allergies. The young kids, my daughter, when she suffers seasonal allergies, as most of us do, I get her on it and, they just disappear. So that's number two. Most importantly, though, which is a topic that I harp on consistently and constantly, is gut health. All right. Gut health is the cornerstone to my program. And it is something that when I started doing it, and I may have mentioned it a bunch of times before, that I was able to get rid of my anxiety and able to solve some skin problems. I thought that was psoriasis. It wasn't. And, the creams and things that the doctors would give you were BS. They weren't helping. And it wasn't until I fixed my gut once and for all that all these things disappeared. Headaches, fatigue, all this stuff. And doctors were just of no help. And, I was following this physician on YouTube. I was listening to some of his podcasts. I don't think he had a podcast at the time. He was a guest, and he was talking about getting your fiber intake up to 30 grams per day. Now, if you think of that through food alone, it's almost impossible. All right. But if you find a good fiber supplement, all right, I use psyllium husk. It is soluble, but also insoluble fiber. That's the key. And 30 grams per day. I do this religiously. I do it 7 days a week. I mix it in water in the morning and in the afternoon. It can also act as a meal replacement if you're, on a weight loss program. It will drastically improve your gut health. All right. What it does is you are now feeding the fiber is the good bacteria. Your gut takes it in, it turns it into the good bacteria, and that will overpower the bad bacteria. It is not a colon cleanse. Okay. So you're not going to be running to the bathroom and things like that. You start slowly. So in my program, we start people very slowly, especially if they've never done anything like this before, but we slowly get them up to that 30 grams a day. And you will see regular bowel movements now and a complete evacuation of the bowel in the morning. Some people tell me, and not some, more than I would like to hear from, that they only have a bowel movement 1 to 3 times per week. That just friggin' blows my mind. You are walking around with all these toxins in your gut. You probably at this point have leaky gut. They're leaking out of the colon into the bloodstream, and they are just wreaking havoc on your body. So that is one of the cornerstones to the Art of Recovery program. Sleep is another huge one. All right. I'm very adamant about my clients getting adequate sleep. We regulate and change back their normal circadian rhythm. None of this, some nights I go to bed at 1 in the morning, then I'm so exhausted. Then I take naps, and no. We set the circadian rhythm. It's one of the first things we do, and we get them on a regular sleep cycle. Sleep hygiene is key. You can't hack your sleep, all right, but you can hack your sleep environment, all right? So that's another huge one. Also is supplementation. So if you're not a big fish eater, and I'm talking about the fatty fishes that smell like fish, like mackerel and sardines, then you have to find a very good supplement. And I recommend before starting supplementation to check your omega-6 to 3 ratio levels. These are simple, and your omega-3 index. These are simple blood tests that your doctor can order. However, insurance does not cover that. Surprise, surprise. You'll have to pay out of pocket for those, and your doctor won't tell you about them. You'll have to bring it up to them. Another surprise. But check your levels, make sure they're optimal. And if they are not, which I would assume they are not, if you are listening to this podcast, you need the right supplementation. So I use wild Alaskan salmon oil, and I do 1 to 2 tablets in the morning. All right. Because I'm not a big fish eater when it comes to those fatty, smelly fishes. It's just not my thing. So I'm going to supplement. So that has to be a part of your regimen. All right. So let's make sure we covered everything. I believe that we did. That's the meat and potatoes anyway. There's a lot of little details that I won't get into for the length of the podcast. We could be here for hours talking about this stuff. If you have questions, you could always reach out to me. I'm always on social media. I'd be happy to help you. But those are the main things. So again, if you're strength training, which is what you should be doing to build muscle, you also have to be very adamant about controlling inflammation and not overtraining, getting the proper sleep, the proper nutrition, getting the right amount of fiber, and taking care of your oral health. We touched upon the local honey. It has to be locally sourced. Otherwise, it's not going to benefit you as much as it should. And these are the few things that I promised you I would lay out. If you have further questions or you want to get involved in the program, just reach out to me. I would love to help you. It is something that I take very, very seriously, is helping people transform their lives. This is the way that I do it. And I would love to help you. So reach out. Don't be shy. We could always just have discussions back and forth. I love meeting new people and answering questions. Hopefully in the future, we'll be bringing guests on as the podcast grows in popularity, and we can bring experts in to talk about these different things. But I am the living, breathing proof that this stuff works, folks, because I didn't launch my program until I did all this stuff on my own and solved a lot of my health issues through this program. And it's is what inspired me to launch the program. So I know this stuff works. when put together and packaged the right way, but everybody is different. So there's a lot of different components that we put in and take away depending on your individual needs and goals. So reach out. All right. I would love to help you. And again, we will see you next time.